Hello, everybody. My name is Roy Nemer of Wrestleview.com. Welcome to the SmackDown Post Show number 26. And as you can see, I'm not alone. Not alone tonight. I'm graced by two lovely co-hosts, two lovely guests for tonight, Mr. Jerome Weiler and his lovely daughter, Gabby. Ladies first, Gabby, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm doing good. We'll get your thoughts in just a couple of moments, but overall, really quickly, what did you think of SmackDown?
I was numb. It was brain numbing. I lost brain cells.
Right, well, so I think you didn't like it too much. We'll keep that for just a couple of moments. Jerome, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you, Roy?
I'm doing good. What really quickly, what did you think of SmackDown?
It's been a while since I've watched SmackDown. It comes on in an odd time for us here. We get it at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I don't usually watch it too often, but it was entertaining, sort of. I mean, I could definitely see the crowd noise was piped in tonight. We talked about that before we went live. That you could definitely tell they piped in crowd noise. The one thing that stood out for me, I'm sure we'll talk about it later, is Ronda Rousey. She's awful on the mic. She needs to be a heel, and she needs to have Paul Heyman as her mouthpiece. The whole interaction with Charlotte was awkward, and it wasn't there. There wasn't anything there. It doesn't sell the match for me at WrestleMania. It doesn't get me excited because Ronda didn't come across real. It was just too forced, I thought. She just wasn't real.
Wasn't real. All right. So far, doesn't look like either of you enjoyed the show. We'll see what everybody else thinks about that in the chat.
I'm curious.
We do have some people. Andrew, how are you, buddy? Thank you for joining, Andrew. And we got Daniel as well.
Hey, Daniel.
Gills fans in there too. And there you go, Andrew, the tribal chief. And Gills fan, you're not convinced by her fake smiley. I'm guessing that's towards Jerome in regards to Ronda Rousey.
Yep. And then I shut it off for us. It was still on, but I turned it off when the Usos were out doing their promo thing about how long they had the tag titles, and it just seemed forced with them too. It just doesn't. I don't know. Everyone seemed kind of off tonight.
I'll be honest. I thought the matches were good. I enjoyed the matches. I enjoyed to a certain degree the build up to WrestleMania, but there were some things I didn't like. There was some stuff in my head. I'm like, why is this even on the show? I know why it's on. It's just, I'm not a big fan of it. But let's get started. Let's get started with the opening segment. I thought this was really well made. Brock Lesnar comes out just angry, throwing the title, absolutely yelling, telling Roman Reigns, get out here. No one draws first blood on me, and lives to tell about it. And he just goes nuts. And then Paul Heyman comes out, and Heyman tells him, "It's good that Roman's not here. I'm protecting you from him." And then Lesnar loses it and chases into the back. Good segment. Gabby, I started with you earlier. We'll make the switch. Jerome, what did you think of the opening segment? What did everybody else in the chat?
Yeah, good segment. Brock's great. I like him better as a heel, but he seems to have found his niche as a baby face, and the fans are behind him. And so I think it'll be a good match at WrestleMania. And so I don't know who's going to win that one. That's what I like. I like to keep being kind of guessing who's going to win, who's not going to win. So I'm excited for that match.
Yeah, this is one of those matches where I think, anyways, in my opinion, I think Roman wins that one. But at the same time, you have Paul Heyman, and you're like, is Paul Heyman actually with Roman, or is he going to make the switch back to Lesnar? So that's kind of intriguing as well. But definitely, I think it's going to be a good one. Gabby, what did you think of the opening segment?
When I saw that segment, that reminded me of what SmackDown used to be on Tuesday nights when I started watching. And I'm like, yep, that is what SmackDown used to be, and they need to go back to that.
It felt it had a bit of old school vibe to it. It had a bit of that.
It
And
did.
just
It
kind
really
of,
did.
yeah, it was just kind of like, you know what, we're not here to talk. I'm here to fight, and the crowd was into it. The crowd was into it.
Yeah.
Jerome, I'm kind of like you in the sense of I tend to enjoy Lesnar more as a heel. Although if we go back to his original run, about 20 years ago, well, a bit less than that, I guess. Let's go to 2004, 2003, 2004 when he was feuding with Eddie Guerrero. He had some funny segments, playing the guitar, coming out, and wearing the sombrero.
I remember those. I remember those.
He had some stuff as well, and we're slowly seeing it. And I watched Lesnar on the Pat McAfee show. I don't know if either of you caught that on YouTube.
I didn't catch it.
He's having a blast.
Yeah,
he's really enjoying himself, and it shows. It's being reflected on the products, being reflected in the ring. So I thought it was a good segment. I thought it was really, really good. Let's get to the chat a little bit. Let's see what everybody else thinks here. Let's get to it. What do we have here? Hey, first off, yes, Quentin, thank you. So please like, share, and subscribe. Check out the Wrestleview website, social media, and join in on the conversation, or else Gabby will speak her mind. There you go. All right. And Daniel's, I'm guessing, he's a fan of Cowboy Brock. He says, I still have Roman beating Brock. That's my prediction for WrestleMania, although that could change. We got a serious Brock for once. Yeah, we did. We did feel fan and showed that vicious side of him. And Andrew, I know, Andrew, this is something you and I kind of spoke a little bit about on Twitter, where he said, I hope they're not trying to get the main event as a first blood. That would suck. I don't think so. I think it's just going to be a very bloody main event, because they did mention blood a lot of times. Brock did, and Heyman did tonight. So I think it's going to be a bloody fight more than anything. Gills is 50-50. And Daniel, only person I see beating Roman is The Rock. Oof. And even at that, I don't see The Rock beating him. I don't see The Rock beating him either. So you're going to have Roman hold on to the belt for 2.5 years or so, only for him to probably retain it against The Rock or otherwise lose it. So we'll see. I think if there is one person in the company that could beat Roman, I think it is Brock Lesnar. I just don't think it happens. That's the only thing. I just don't think it happens. All right. So I think we all agree on this one. The three of us. Opening segment. Thumbs up. Not too bad.
Yep. If I can do it.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Yep. Gabby's got Orange Cassidy. Thumbs up.
It looks like everybody in the chat as well enjoyed that one. Daniel, my fantasy booking is in overdrive. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about that, Daniel. I'm going to need your fantasy booking in just a little bit, because I did mention in the description, for those that read it, new content coming up on Wrestleview, and I'm going to need some of that booking. And Gil's fan never saw Paul Heyman move that fast. All right. So next up, we had what was a very scary match, what ended up being a very, very scary match, and just ultimately not good news. Big E and Kofi Kingston against Sheamus and Ridge Holland, with Butch, previously known as Pete Dunne. So Pete Dunne's on the main roster, completely changed his name. It's now Butch.
Stupid.
It's
stupid
on the media. This was not good.
So real quick, Roy, I think WWE thinks that their fans are idiots, because you watch NXT, you know Pete Dunne. You watch NXT UK, you're going to know who Pete Dunne is. It's just it's stupid writing and stupid booking, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is, and it's just kind of like, I get it that they're trying to separate WWE from NXT. I get it, although if you look at NXT, the current champion is Dolph Ziggler.
It insults the fans' intelligence. Wrestling fans are smarter than that.
Of course. Now, before we get to the whole, Big E stuff, Gabby, what did you think of this match? Thought it was going well, or just overall you weren't enjoying it?
Oh my gosh, when Big E landed the way he did on his neck, I was like, yeah, he broke it. He broke it right there. Scary. That was like cringy for me. I'm like, I've never seen that before, that bad. I'm like, why? And then as the match went on, I'm like, oh, this is not a bad match. It's a pretty good match.
All right, so the injury to Big E aside, you were enjoying this one.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Jerome, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a good match, up to the point where Big E took that terrible spot, and I could see that he probably had broken his neck, or I was hoping he wasn't going to have his neck broken, but he confirmed on Twitter. I posted it right before we went live that he confirmed he broke his neck. Sheamus did the right thing by ending it quickly, calling that audible and ending it quickly like they did. But yeah, it was just, oh, there it is. Yep, that's just awful. And oh my gosh. But yeah, good match up to that point. Feel bad for Big E because he and Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods were scheduled for that 6-man tag at WrestleMania against Holland, Butch, and who's Sheamus.
Well, yeah, Sheamus, yeah.
And now that's not going to happen. I forgot Sheamus's name there for a moment. That's what happens when you get close to 50. Yeah, that match isn't going to happen at WrestleMania, and that's bad. So I feel bad for Big E, and he gets well soon. Gabby and I were talking earlier, and she was asking me how long he could be out of action, and we haven't heard yet. But if it requires surgery, I'm saying a year. If it doesn't require surgery, maybe 6 to 9 months, at the least. So yeah, I mean, it probably wouldn't be back until Royal Rumble maybe of 2023.
Yeah, it's. I mean, generally, I think the last one, I can't remember. Thankfully, I can't remember the last time someone had that a severe injury like that. But yeah, I would think not before the fall. Highly unlikely before September or October. Although, I'm trying to remember for Austin. I know Austin had his neck broken, but Austin was back in a couple of months. I mean, SummerSlam '97, he was back by Survivor Series, I think. But
right, yeah.
Hopefully, he comes back, 100%. All things considered, a broken neck is still a broken neck. It's awful. Hurts, so it's bad. And I mentioned this on Twitter, and it's a very good point that Andrew just brings up. He says it's been a dangerous few weeks for all the promotions. On Revolution, AEW Revolution, Jericho landing on his head. Obviously had a couple weeks back.
Me.
And it was at the very start of the match. And then a couple weeks before that, you had Madcap Moss at the Elimination Chamber. And then you had Ridge Holland before that. The broken nose. So it's been dangerous. It's been absolutely dangerous.
And it has been.
Yeah, it shows you that, yes, sometimes they make it look easy, but sometimes it's just maybe the simplest of things. Yeah. I'm not saying the belly to back suplex is simple, but sometimes it's one of those simpler moves that could just go horribly wrong. So
I see Gil's fans saying that Ricky Starks was back quickly from a broken neck, but I think Starks' injury was a little bit less severe than Big E's. He didn't land. If I recall correctly, he didn't land the way Big E landed. Because if you look at that still shot, it looked like his chin was almost touching his chest area, and that's bad. That's bad.
No, that's not very good. When I was watching it live, obviously it looked bad. I think everybody saw it. But the fact that they never cut back to Big E or they never mentioned him again or showed him again, that's what kind of made it worse. Because, for example, like the Madcap Moss thing where he landed on his head, totally dangerous. But he went on and, they kind of played off it, but, he was fine. And that's, I think, something that you kind of learn with time as you watch wrestling more and more, where there's a dangerous spot and person's hurt and they don't show the camera on them again. It means they're actually hurt. Otherwise you see them rolling around in pain. So, best wishes to him. Hopefully he recovers very, very soon and he's back 100%. That's very, very dangerous. And let's take a look at the chat right here. Daniel, probably back around the Rumble or February, so probably a year from now. This could have been very dangerous as well. I mean, staying at AEW Revolution, that was tough as well. And that's another one, Clinton. Yeah. Who says wrestling's fake, right? Who says wrestling's fake?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Right.
Now, the sources that I looked at that we had said that Big E gave a thumbs up as he was being stretchered out to going to the back, but that was, of course, not shown on television. They kept that off TV. So,
My guess will probably mention it either on social media if they haven't already, or probably on Raw or next Friday on SmackDown. They'll probably mention that there. But it has not been a very good year for the New Day. Xavier Woods out for a while now. Big E, Kofi's, they're not really doing too much from where I can't see them doing too much for them as a singles competitor right now, so close to WrestleMania.
No.
So yeah, that's gonna be tough for him. Talking about tough, this was, for whatever reason, the next thing coming up was not very pleasant to watch. Drew McIntyre, the Viking ratings, Happy Corbin, Madcap, Jinder Mahal, Shanky.
You're giving me a headache, Roy.
Whoever wants to take the wheel, it's your call.
All right. Well, first of all,
I was paying half attention to the match. I was multitasking, and then I'm like, I'm just not gonna watch this match because it was like overly boring.
Yeah, luckily there wasn't a match to be had. Luckily,
yeah.
Although what we got was not very pretty. Jerome, I'm guessing you agree on that one.
Yeah, the whole Happy Corbin gimmick's got to go. It's just stupid. And Viking Raiders, I remember them as War Machine in Ring of Honor. They're a joke as the Viking Raiders. And the whole Madcap Moss thing, give me some Tylenol. Good headache just talking about it. And then what's the Drew McIntyre with this whole sword thing? I mean, give me a break.
I don't know. And I know Mike talks about this, Victoria as well on Raw back when he was on there doing the pay-per-views. But you have Drew McIntyre have a prop that's part of his gimmick that he can't use.
Yeah, I know. It's I think at one point he called it like the tooth of the Loch Ness monster, or some goofy thing like that. Give the guy a toothpick. Get rid of the sword.
That's it. I don't understand. So there was something actually. Well, we'll get to the chat. Just a couple of seconds. There's something I want to mention. Daniel writes, Drew and Corbin are taking up space for others. See, I'm a fan of Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, or Happy Corbin, whatever you want to call him. I think he has his space on the roster. I think he plays the annoying character very, very well. It's just what they're doing with them in terms of the storyline I'm just not enjoying. And Andrew, there you go. So Andrew says, just saw something on Twitter, that Bayley is saying she's a free agent. I'm going to bring this up in just a couple of moments. So essentially, it is a picture of Bayley, and all she wrote was free agent, and it's a picture of her holding the two women's title belts. So I don't know if she shows up at WrestleMania. I was actually thinking about her during the show, during SmackDown. I thought, it's been a year. She's back. She has to be back.
So she's saying free agent because she's a free agent with she's up for Raw or SmackDown to grab her. I can't see this being like free agent as in her contract's up. I think she's probably, saying I'm a free agent. Who wants me Raw or who wants me SmackDown? That's kind of what I think. It's a storyline.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. I don't think her contract is up by any means. I think it's just a matter of, WrestleMania's coming up, and they always have that, the restart the night after WrestleMania, and I think that's what's going to happen with her. I think they have her show up on either Raw or SmackDown. So hopefully, because that women's division, it has its ups and downs lately in terms of the two titles, the Raw women's title, SmackDown women's title. It's been on a high. I'm enjoying the storylines, but everything else, and we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to the everything else regarding the women's in just a couple of moments, because it has not been very pretty. And Drew says, Andrew says, surprised Drew hasn't killed someone with that Claymore.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because if he doesn't do it the right way, that could injure somebody as well. I mean, it's all about the timing on that move.
Absolutely. And Gil's fan, in regards to Bayley, says, I hope she goes to Raw. I don't want Ronda to squash her. Well, we'll get to that in just a couple of seconds. We'll get to that. Next up, we're getting to that, literally. It's Ronda Rousey, Charlotte Flair. Jerome, I know you're you have a lot to say about this one. I see Gabby's eyes just kind of, opening up wide. Jerome, floor is yours.
Okay, so Ronda, she can't talk. She can't talk to save her life. She's awful on the mic. She's not believable. She needs to be the heel and have Paul Heyman as her mouthpiece. The whole interaction with Charlotte was awful. I know Charlotte was trying, but that whole segment was just, it just seemed, the timing seemed off. Ronda just wasn't there. And Charlotte was trying, and it just didn't, I know the fans just didn't seem like they were into it. You could clearly hear the crowd noise was piped in for that segment. I could tell, because you look at the fans and then you hear the crowd noise and people are sitting on their hands and they're doing nothing. So it's like, press that crowd noise button. It was an awful segment. I couldn't, it was bad. You're muted, Roy.
Sorry, yeah. So I was just saying, thanks, Jerome. I was just saying they've done that more than once in the past couple of weeks, and more than once tonight. Even there were a couple of instances where, and also not to talk about the other show, but Rampage. They do that a lot on Rampage. You can tell that people are sitting on their hands doing nothing, and then you've got all this cheering and clapping and woo and ah, and it's like, they're not doing that in the arena. I don't see the reactions.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I haven't caught a single episode of Rampage since the first episode, just because it doesn't. Yeah. Well, for two reasons. One, most of the time when I try and do, the post show, it airs at the same time.
Right.
And the other reason is it's not available in Canada. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I'm missing too much.
No, it's not a bad show. It's more of a upper mid Carter show. So it's not too bad. But anyway, back to the Blue Show.
Back to the Blue Show. So Andrew says Charlotte seems like she doesn't care anymore. Gabby, what do you think? What do you think of the segment in general?
Oh my gosh, the segment needed to go bye-bye. Ronda was not even trying. Charlotte was kind of trying, but she wasn't there. And it was just kind of a back and forth of, who's going to try harder to make this segment better? And then I'm like, they're failing horribly.
Yeah. It
was an awful segment.
Gabby's not a fan of it. Gabby, like Jerome, not a fan of it. See, I agree with the both of you, but I'll say this. I think what Ronda said, I thought was good. I just think it was the delivery that was very poor. It's, what she said, the words she said, I thought it made sense, but it's the way she said it or said them that is just kind of like, yeah. And like, to your point, she needs Paul Heyman or she needs someone.
Yeah, she just doesn't come across believable. And even when she was here the first time in WWE, she still didn't come across believable to me. I still thought she was awful on the mic and couldn't give a promo to save her life. Sorry, Ronda.
Absolutely. No, look, I like Ronda Rousey. Nothing against her. She's obviously a tremendous athlete. But promo's not what she's very good at. And even Charlotte Flair, ironically enough, even though her father is arguably one of the, probably one of the best ever on a microphone, for her, I just always feel like she'll say the right things, but it's almost as if she's always yelling. It's always very the same tone. It's always very high. Never, it's saying the right things. It's the way you say it. It's the way you say the words, and that plays a big role. And that's why I agree with the both of you. I thought the promo itself was good in terms of what they were saying, but the delivery just wasn't. Yeah. Daniel, can we apologize for thinking that Ronda can save the women's division? I'll say this. I think the build-up to this match at WrestleMania, I think, has been pretty good. Hasn't been great, but certainly could have been worse or could be worse. That's my opinion on that. And Andrew, Ronda gets mad at the fans and goes home again. I think she wins the title at WrestleMania. I don't know what you guys
I think she's going to win. Yeah. I see her winning. I see her getting.
Yeah. I think
she's going to.
Yeah, I think she wins.
I think she wins.
And Andrew, this is something I thought about, especially at the end of the show. Is it possible we end up getting a submission match, maybe figure 4 or figure 8 against the arm bar or the ankle lock? I think it's a possibility we get that kind of stipulation.
Maybe. I don't know. I could see Ronda winning the title at WrestleMania, and then maybe when they do a draft, or if they do some type of other draft, I could see Charlotte going back to Raw as a babyface and trying to go after the Raw Women's title and feuding with Becky Lynch, even though they had that real life issue.
Yeah, that could happen. I mean, that's assuming Becky keeps the title, right?
Yeah.
That's even assuming that, but I could certainly see that. And see, now that we're kind of talking about it, I'm thinking, my mind went to WrestleMania, Texas, Austin submission match or I Quit match, let's say. WrestleMania 13. Do you do that with Charlotte and Ronda, where you have, let's say, Ronda in the figure 4, in the figure 8, or you have Charlotte in, let's say the armbar or the ankle lock, and you pull the same finish from WrestleMania 13, where neither one of them gives up; they just kind of pass out from the pain. Do you get something like that?
I remember that. Yeah, that could be a possibility. I could see that happening. Maybe.
Yeah, it's been what, 25 years now. That's crazy just to
Something
say,
like
but
that.
97 WrestleMania, WrestleMania 13.
Yeah.
So, well, this was, I think, before your time, Gabby. I think this was before your time.
That was before Gabby's time, but not mine. Because Gabby the other day was asking me.
Really not mine.
Yeah, no. Gabby was asking me the other day. She said, asking me how long I've been watching wrestling. And I told her, well, I started in 1985, so you do the math.
There you go. I started. My earliest memory was 94. Like, I remember bits and parts of 93, like very little details, but 94 is where I can fully remember some stuff. So
yeah.
There you go. So not as long as you, Jerome. Not as long as you, Jerome. But I'm getting there. Not too bad.
Yeah. And I think Andrew Elder. I think Andrew's up there too. I think he's about 35 or 36 years, and I think
I don't know,
pretty close.
Andrew, yeah, we'll ask Andrew and Daniel as well, and Gil's fan, just to get an idea.
Yeah.
Gil's fan writes, I can't wait to see how Ronda will avoid putting Becky over again at WrestleMania 39. Ooh, they can build that storyline for next year.
They could.
Oh, that's harsh. That's harsh.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Andrew and I started watching the same year.
Yeah, and Daniel's born in 86, started around 96 when his first pay-per-view was SummerSlam.
Yeah.
SummerSlam.
So I started watching wrestling a year before Daniel was born. Oh my!
Clinton's a vet. Clinton's a veteran around here.
Clinton's got me beat. 43 years. He's got me beat.
There you go. There you go, Jerome.
Wow.
Gil's fan, 2008.
Yeah.
See, it's funny because 2008 is probably around the time where I probably not stopped watching. I continued following, but I didn't watch every week. I had that period from 2008 till about 2013, 2014, where it was just kind of like, I didn't really enjoy the product too much. I kept up with it. I still paid attention. But
I was like that in 94. 94, I was kind of the same way, where I was just a little off and on in 94. It was a bad year for the product, both WCW and WWF.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't very good. 94 was no. So, Daniel, same age as Cody Rhodes, and Andrew. I was 5 when I started watching wrestling. There you go. I'm 41 now. So here's to another 41 years worth of, or 36 years worth of
something like that. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I got a few years, Andrew.
Yeah. But I like it the way we get like different groups, different years. So it's cool.
It's great.
All right. Much more interesting than the upcoming segment or upcoming match, which was Sasha Banks and Naomi against Shayna Basler and Natalia. Yes, I'm gonna. If Jerome and Gab, if you guys don't mind, I'll take the reins on this one, or I'll start things off.
Yeah, well, let's just say I went to the kitchen. I went to the kitchen to get some water, and then forgot about the match.
Probably the best thing.
Came back. Oh, it's over. Who won? I don't know who won that one because I didn't pay attention.
Yeah.
I was popping popcorn during that match.
Yeah, I think Gabby's popcorn was. Yeah. Watching her popcorn pop was more entertaining than the match. Where I agree.
Yeah, that's more entertaining. I don't. And Jerome, you mentioned this earlier in terms of the WWE, questioning the intelligence of the fans, right? The fans' intelligence. And putting aside I'm not going to say hatred, but my dislike towards Sasha Banks, really putting that aside. If you're building a storyline, a tag team storyline with Sasha Banks, doesn't matter who it's with. As commentators, how could you not just kind of throw that out there in terms of, can Naomi trust Sasha? Can Naomi trust Sasha? And you build that up, let's say, for like a month or two. And then you make it seem like, okay, she really can trust her. And then ultimately Sasha turns on her, because that's what's going to happen. And this, for me personally, is why I'm not invested in this tag team, because they can win the titles. They can hold on to it for the next 45 years. At the end of the day, Sasha's going to turn her back. And it's going to be extremely annoying when she does. So I'm just not invested in this. Wasn't Natalia feuding with Aaliyah like a couple of weeks ago? Wasn't she feuding with Xia Li like 2 weeks ago? What is she doing with Shayna Basler? This whole women's division is just a complete disaster. And that's all I got. That's enough for me. That's enough for me.
Yeah, there's no consistency in it. And Daniel said he was making coffee during that match, probably to stay awake. I mean, it's just, yeah. And then I see Gills fans saying the women's tag titles are an embarrassment. They don't even have one tag team. I don't even know why they've got women's tag team titles. They don't do anything with them, and they're. I mean, Impact's got Knockouts tag team titles that they do more with than WWE does with their women's tag team titles, which is a sad state of affairs if you look at it. For a company that only gets 96,000 viewers a week, they put the women's division at the top versus a company that gets 2.2 million viewers a week on Fox, and they do nothing with them. Hello.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it shows you where what they think of the unfortunately what they think of the entire women's division. Because if you look at the women's division individually, I know she's injured, but we just mentioned her. Bayley, very good. Ronda Rousey, definitely good in the ring. Charlotte, in my opinion, is probably the best female athlete that they have, along with Bianca Belair. Becky Lynch, much better now than she was years ago. So you have that core of, let's say, 4 or 5 women that you could base the division off of, and it's kind of what they've been doing for the past couple of years. But the rest, just like absolutely nothing. Naomi's just there. Shayna Basler, who can be an incredible threat, nothing. If you look over on Raw, Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, you have these athletes. You honestly have supers, or not. I'm not gonna say superstars, but let's say wrestlers or whatever you want to call them, that you could potentially do something with, and it's just not working. It's not working. So, anyways, hey, happy early birthday! There you go, Daniel. Birthday is tomorrow, so happy early birthday, Daniel.
Excellent. Yes, excellent.
Have a good one, buddy. Hope you enjoy it. And hopefully there's no Sasha Banks or any mention of Sasha Banks. Hopefully not. Andrew says they do more with the NXT tag titles. They probably do. I'm very honest. I don't watch NXT. Very little of it. Mostly just pay-per-view. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. All right. Moving on. We got the Usos, right? Which I think, Jerome, you mentioned you guys kind of stopped watching around that time.
Yep. That's where we stopped because we're coming live on the show. So that's where we stopped. And yeah, I agree with Gabby that segment was just, their whole delivery was awful. I mean, Jay Uso and Jimmy usually do better on the mic, but tonight they were just not. It just seemed like they were off their normal game tonight. They were bragging about how long they've held the titles, and then at that point, I was like, "Yeah, it's time to click it off because we got to go live."
All right, so I'll tell you a little bit what happened. So they're in the ring, obviously they're cutting that promo, and then Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura come out, and Boogs has his right leg just fully taped up. And Boogs tells him, well, we're gonna, you're looking at the next SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And they get in the ring, and Jimmy tells Boogs, he tells him, look, if you can defeat Jey Uso in a one-on-one match tonight, you get your tag title match at WrestleMania.
Okay.
They
Sure.
agree. Bell rings. Rick Boogs completely takes off the tape off his right foot. He's fine. It's about a 2-minute match. Boogs ends up winning. So that's going to be the match at WrestleMania, which is the Usos defending their SmackDown Tag Team titles against Rick Boogs and Shinsuke Nakamura, which in all likelihood will probably be on the pre-show. In all likelihood.
Yeah, predictable match. Usos retain, and Rick Boogs is a goof. Shinsuke Nakamura's turned into a goof, and somebody needs to tell Pat McAfee to stop dancing on that announce table when Shinsuke comes out because he looks like a real total goof.
Well, he didn't dance. He did not dance tonight. He did not dance tonight. Although he was
I've
involved in the
seen
main event.
Yeah, I've seen him do that. It's just gives me a headache.
Not very good. Not very good.
Yeah.
Quentin says that segment was cringeworthy. Yes, it was.
Yes.
Andrew Daniel predicted that it would be Boogs and Nakamura against the Usos.
Yeah.
Boogs doing his thing at WrestleMania. I can't wait. All right. And really quickly regarding the women's division, Gills fan says, I'm glad Rhea has moved on from the random team with Nikki to the random team with Liv. Great career progression. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. But I'm with you, Roy. I think that tag match with the Usos is going to be on the pre-show, probably night one.
Probably night one, yeah. That's probably what's going to kick it off. They'll get, Rick Boogs with the guitar. It's going to wake the crowd up, get them going even more than they are, hopefully than they already will be. And that's going to be that. It's probably going to be on the pre-show. And very
that match is pre-show worthy.
Sorry, Gabby? It just got a little bit.
The match is pre-show worthy for the Usos.
Pre-show worthy, yeah. And
pre-show worthy.
Yeah, and the thing about the Usos is it's almost like you kind of feel sorry for them because they are pretty much carrying that SmackDown tag team division, and they're putting them on the pre-show. Most likely, I'm going to be on the pre-show.
Yeah, yeah. And there's no one I think that will dethrone them. I mean, there's really no good tag team I see on SmackDown that they would have. The Usos drop the titles to. I just don't know.
There's no one. As a whole in the company, you have them, you have the Street Profits, you have Gable and Otis. I mean, arguably the Raw Tag Team division is significantly stronger than the SmackDown one, which was the opposite for years.
Right.
But yeah, so two very different comments coming up. So Daniel, Pat McAfee's a tool, and then Gills fan gets Pat is the greatest. So
right,
kind of depends.
And then you gotta look at Quentin's comment.
Quentin, yeah. Well, that's one way of putting it. Gabby, are you on the Gills? Are you on Gills' side of the greatest, or are you on Daniel's? Pat McAfee's a tool. Which one are you leaning more towards, Gabby?
I'm on Daniel's side on this one because he's so Pat McAfee's weird and different in the worst way possible. I'm like, every time when I saw him dance on the announce table, I'm like, what in the world is wrong with this guy?
Okay. So you're more towards that he's a tool. You're more towards he's a tool. Jerome, I'm guessing you agree with her? You agree with Gabby?
He's a goof. Yeah, he's a goof. And he I don't like his delivery. He's annoying. His delivery's annoying. I just don't like his delivery. And I'm not a fan of Michael Cole either. I've never really been a fan of Michael Cole. I mean, I don't know the guy personally, but I'd prefer, I'd take, Jim Ross over. I mean, he's on AEW, but I'd take Jim Ross over Michael Cole.
They're two different styles. I'll say this regarding Pat McAfee, and I understand both your point of views absolutely, and I certainly see it. I thought when Pat started off, I thought he was very like what you saw from him is what you got in terms of because he is a wrestling fan. He mentioned it on his show. He grew up watching wrestling, and he does it every single show. He has that Mr. Perfect, the thing that he does with the pen.
Yes,
the pencil where he just kind of flips it.
Right,
so that's cool, and you can tell he's a fan. You can tell he's enjoying himself. But I feel like now, especially the last couple of weeks, they're kind of jumping the shark a little bit. They're overdoing it, You know, it's no longer, hey,
Yeah.
this is how I am. This is Pat McAfee. It's now Pat McAfee on steroids. You know,
Right. Yeah.
really
He's probably got Vince.
omnipresent.
He's probably got Vince yapping in his ear and over the headset.
That's probably it. Honestly, that's probably it. I thought when he first started off, I enjoyed it. You know, the dancing on the table I thought was, you know, fun for what it was. But
Yeah.
now it's just become a bit too much.
I was hoping he'd be like a heel Jerry the King Lawler, where you poke at Jim Ross on Raw, you could be poking at Michael Cole on SmackDown. I mean, that'd be a good character for him. I think he'd do better that way.
Yeah, it's unfortunately, and I say this, nothing against Michael Cole. I'm not his biggest fan, nor do I dislike him. I'm very neutral when it comes to Michael Cole.
Yeah.
But unfortunately for Pat McAfee, or fortunately for Pat McAfee, there's no one else you could really put him with where he could learn. Just really look at
Right,
it.
exactly.
Michael Cole's been doing this for 25 years, maybe, about 25
Yeah,
years.
and I agree with you. If anybody could teach Pat, it would be Michael on how to do the commentary and do it well. And you know, the funny thing is, the time I enjoyed Michael Cole the most is when he was a heel and he was feuding with Jerry the King Lawler on Raw. I thought that was really enjoyable. I thought that was fun stuff. I enjoyed that. I thought that was Michael's best time as a commentator, in my opinion. It was before your time, Gabby. Sorry, honey.
Just slightly before your time.
Dang it!
You go back on YouTube. Yeah, go and watch him on YouTube later. It's on YouTube. You can watch it on YouTube later.
It's on YouTube. Gills fan, don't feel. I'm with you on this one. I'll join you in the Pat McAfee fan club. Daniel says this show is the worst. I've only caught 2 episodes, which were when Lester was on and Vince was on. So
yeah.
And this is what we're getting to right now. Andrew says, and we now have him versus the other annoying guy, Austin Theory. So something else that you guys missed, Jerome and Gabby, is the main event. So the main event was Ricochet defending his title against Sami Zayn. And before the bell even rings, Austin Theory came out.
Okay.
So Austin Theory came out and he slapped Pat McAfee in the face. And Pat McAfee just jumped. He jumped the table, beat him up, right hands, and like threw him over the announce table, more right hands. Like Pat McAfee, you know, he destroyed him. Officials come out, security comes out. They're both escorted out. So the main event is actually Michael Cole doing commentary on his own. And Cole mentioned this more than once. He mentioned about 2-3 times. He said, you know, Pat McAfee's a commentator, and who knows how this will affect his announcing career. So they mentioned this about 2-3 times. It wasn't just like a one-time thing where they just threw it out there. They mentioned it 2-3 times. So who knows? Maybe it's going to be like a Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. And if Pat McAfee loses, he's no longer announcing on SmackDown or something. Who knows? I don't know.
I could see that happen. I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah. A little stipulation.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Well, as for the match, honestly, and I'll let everybody else in the chat let me know your thoughts. It was a solid match. It was a good match. No interference. Ricochet won clean. There was no Johnny Knoxville. That's what I was worried about. I was worried Johnny Knoxville would come out and Ricochet would get another win, not a clean one. But he came out looking strong in this one. A solid win for him, a good win for him, a good main event. So Ricochet retains. The only thing for Ricochet now is who is he going to fight at WrestleMania? It's not going to be Sami Zayn.
No. And I was surprised that Sami Zayn dropped the title so quickly. But on another hand, I wasn't surprised. that Gabby was asking me about it, and I said, well, here's my scenario. John Laurinaitis, Sammy, here's this big fat contract. Sign it. Ooh, look at all the money. Sammy, ooh, look at all the money. And then John goes back to Vince. Yeah, we got him to sign it, so we won't go to AEW. Vince, bury him now. Bury him. You know, so that's exactly what my thinking is. You know, sign Sammy to this fat contract, a lot of money, so he doesn't go to the competition, and now just bury him. That's my thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly could be that. It certainly could be that. The thing with Sammy is, and I agree, it would not surprise me not one bit if that were the case. But they've been building up this whole conspiracy theory thing for well over a year now. And
it's been a long time.
Yeah. We got nothing so far out of it. Like, despite the fact that he won the Intercontinental title and everything, and now Johnny Knoxville, we got nothing out of it. So if you're Sami Zayn and you got what looked to be a pretty lucrative contract from, you know, initial reports coming out, I wouldn't care at this point. To be brutally honest, I probably wouldn't care if I'm Sami Zayn. Give me the money. I'm probably gonna just work that once a week on SmackDown and this and that. And you know, wrestlers are becoming more and more smart, you know, sort of smarter, let's say, with their money. And if you have the chance, why not? You know, why not make money in the WWE and you're kind of set for life as opposed to going to AEW and
Sure.
hey, I got something to prove there. I don't know. I guess maybe every wrestler, every superstar is different, but that wouldn't surprise me. Let's go back to your point, Jerome. It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case where they gave Sami the contract, like, okay, we got him now for the next couple of years. Let's bury him. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. All right, so let's take a look at the chat. Andrew, so who does he face on the WrestleMania pre-show?
I don't know. It'd be another throwaway match.
Yeah, they have about 2 or 3 weeks to think of an opponent. I mean, it's not Madcap Moss. It's not Corbin.
No, and I'm surprised they put the title on Ricochet. I'm surprised Ricochet's got the run with the title. He's been more seen as a mid-carder, I thought.
Honestly, that's what I thought. But the fact that, you know, they gave him a new entrance and a new theme song, they put the title on him. He main evented SmackDown tonight, which is probably the first time ever he's main evented a Raw or SmackDown. Won the match clean. So they're certainly trying to do something with him, but it's going to be too late for WrestleMania unless they do like an open challenge.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be part of the releases that they had done. I'm surprised that he's still there with the company.
Yeah, that's it's. I thought he'd be gone as well with Cesaro. And Cesaro, obviously, you know, over there. But
right.
Yeah, Gills fan says hopefully Sami pulls double duty and gets the title back. Yeah, after losing clean tonight, I don't see it happening though. Not after losing tonight.
Yeah, the right, your camera's a little blurry, by the way.
Sorry,
you're blurred a little bit. You're looking a little blurry.
Okay, there you go. I think
there you go. Sorry.
Thank you. No, all good. Thank you. Andrew, thank goodness Sami doesn't have the IC title, or end up with Johnny Knoxville. I think Knoxville wins that match at WrestleMania, so it's probably a good thing that Zayn doesn't hold the title right now.
Yeah.
Quentin, what is this conspiracy theory? Daniel, yes, that's certainly a good thing because for a while, wasn't Vince McMahon rumored to like, didn't he completely want to get rid of the Intercontinental title, like completely never bring it back type of thing?
Yeah, there was some discussion about that. He wanted to get rid of that, the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, that's for such a prestigious title.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was one point I remember in the 1990s, and even in the late 80s, that title was seen higher and more prestigious than the world title.
Of course, it's if you look at especially the 90s. I mean, people that held that title just. I'm gonna name 2 names: Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart. You know, that right there, and then you had obviously Shawn and Razor, and you know, as the 90s went on. But Rick Rude was champion as well, wasn't he? Intercontinental title, I think.
Yes, I think he was.
He was.
I'd have to go back and look. I think he was. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was really, you know, this was something. This belt meant something back when you won it, and unfortunately, you know, not too much these days. Unfortunately. Quentin says this belongs on the pre-show before the pre-show.
Thank you. Yes, that match is also pre-show worthy.
Yes, whatever match you're gonna put Ricochet into WrestleMania, there's not enough build-up for 2-3 weeks. That's gonna be on the pre-show, and it was a career lifter. Yeah, it made Orton's career before he won the world title in 2004. And yeah, we're not gonna get into Orton's title win in 2004 just because it's not something we're apparently supposed to talk about ever.
Yeah, well, he's overrated, in my opinion.
Orton?
Yes.
Yeah, I never thought about him. I never thought about that. I don't consider him to be, you know, the greatest or, you know, or up there by any means. I'm just surprised that he's been able to get as much as he has been out of his character. That's what surprised me the most. Because he has been
and I don't know why they're teaming with Riddle. That guy's another goof.
There were rumors. If rumors are to be believed, Orton was pushing for Riddle to win the Rumble.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but I'm not. I've never been sold on Riddle.
Yeah,
the guy's just get the guy some shoes.
Mr. Nemer, I have a question for you.
Yes.
What do you think of Queen Selena Vega?
Queen Selena Vega. Oh my God, has she even wrestled a match? Has she wrestled more than 3 matches since she won the King of the Ring, or the Queen of?
I don't think so.
Queen of the Ring.
Queen of the Ring? I don't think so.
Has she won? Like, I know, obviously, women's tag team champions, but her and Carmella.
Yeah.
But
I think she was only signed so she wouldn't go join her husband in AEW.
Oh, absolutely! That was a shocker when she returned and when she re-signed. That was a shocker because she was very. I'm not gonna say anti WWE, but when the whole Twitch thing and about streaming came out, and she wanted to start the Wrestlers Union, I think, or, there was talk about that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, when Tony Khan signed Malachi Black, yeah.
There you go. When Malachi Black or Aleister Black went to AEW,
right.
I think everybody thought she was going to go there as well. But she re-signed, and I don't know how much money she's making, but they gave her a push. They gave her as big of a push pretty much as you can give anybody. Queen of the Ring, tag champion. I don't think she'll ever be women's champion, but I think she's good in the ring. I think she's good on the mic. I just don't see her ever being that, superstar or that next Charlotte or Bailey or, whatever you want to push her to. I think there's a ceiling, unfortunately, for Selena Vega. I think there's a ceiling, and I think she's hit that ceiling. Quentin, there you go. What is a riddle?
It's
Andrew,
that character Batman. It's that character in Batman, Riddle, right?
Batman, yes. He's a character. He's a character, sorry. Andrew says, in regards to Gabby's question, so Selena needs to go to AEW and be with her husband in the House of Black.
Yeah.
I was having this discussion.
I'd love to do that.
I was having this discussion, and we're not going to turn this too much into an AEW thing, but I was talking to a very good friend of mine actually yesterday, who's a lifelong wrestling fan, been watching it for over 30 years, and he's a big AEW fan. And for the past couple of months, I would always tell him, AEW, they keep signing everybody. He tells me, no, it's good. It's good. And even yesterday, he finally admitted, he told me, they have too many wrestlers. They signed too many people. So
WCW 2.0.
Yeah. And if they do decide to send some of those over to Ring of Honor, it's not considered AEW. Right? It's not going to be considered AEW. They're doing too much. They're signing too many for me. Way too many. And when you're AEW, sorry, go ahead.
Their show's good, the product's good, but they need to split their roster, and Tony Khan needs to take some of that roster and move it to Ring of Honor to even things out, I think.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I'm not knocking on the matches itself at all. No, some good matches, some good storylines, but the roster is just, it's too much. It's way too much.
Eventually he's going to have to let people go because there's going to be no TV time for him, and he's going to have too many contracts.
Exactly. And I don't know how many wrestlers will accept to sign with AEW just to be on AEW Dark on YouTube.
Exactly.
Oh, Andrew, there you go. So I must have missed that. Andrew says Zelina said they told her they were going to keep her husband, and that's why she re-signed with WWE, and then they released him. So I remember they were giving him a push. They were doing those, vignettes, those videos backstage, and that was it. That was that. Gil's fan, Selena's the best female on the mic in WWE, and then Daniel and Quentin with some similar AEW comments. So after the main event, there was still one last final little segment. So Ricochet won the title. Ricochet retained the title, and there was about 5 or 6 minutes left on the show. So you kind of think, okay, they're not going off air just yet. And they cut backstage, and it's Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey just fighting, and there's a car next to them. And this ends up with Charlotte getting the upper hand. So Charlotte kind of slams her on the hood of the car. She gets in like a modified chokehold, and then they break it up, and the show goes off the air. So last week it was Ronda that got the upper hand. This week it's Charlotte. They're playing yo-yo with both. It was cringy to watch. I'll be very honest. This was like the idea was good, but it was cringy, very very cringy to watch. I'm sure it's probably on YouTube if you guys want to take a look at it, but not very good. Not very good in terms of watching it. But that was the show. And there you go. So, Gil's fan, the only thing that interested me here was wondering whose car was that. So, whose car? It was just a random red car that was parked just like randomly in the arena, and they started fighting. Andrew, boy, the agents and the refs suck at breaking up fights. Thought we were going to get the cop segment like they did with Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda that time. Yeah, it's true. I remember that a couple of years ago. So wasn't the case. Wasn't the case.
No.
So Jerome, Gabby, what did you guys think of the show? You guys going to thumbs up? Thumbs down?
I kind of middle, kind of like the bar used to do. The so-so. It had good moments. It had bad moments. Thought the bad moments from what I saw outweighed the good moments. What did it for me with the most bad moment was not so much Ronda Rousey's bad mic work. It was the piped-in crowd noise. It was just overbearing.
Yeah, when it becomes that obvious, it takes away from the show.
Well, when they were interviewing Sami Zayn, I think it was a backstage interview, you could hear this fake crowd noise that was it was awful. It sounded Bush League. It was like total early 1990s WWF stuff when they were losing to WCW.
It was like the sitcom stuff, right? When they pipe in the crowd noise.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like that. Gabby, what did you think of the show? Thumbs up, thumbs down?
It was
kind of in the middle.
It was okay for the most part. I mean, there were some moments where I was just zoning out of SmackDown because I'm like, why is this here? Why is that there? Why is that in the show?
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, there were some funny moments, some good moments, but I mean, like my dad said, the bad moments outweighed the good moments. Just because, yeah.
All right. I'll get to the chat and we'll see what everybody thinks. So I think everybody agrees with the both of you, Jerome and Gabby. The show was meh for Quinton. Andrew says 2 hours. Cannot complain about that. Matches were good. Promos not so much. I think that was the theme. I agree with Andrew. I think the matches were good. The matches that we got, for the most part, I thought were good. The promos, that's kind of where it wasn't too good. Gil's fan, thumbs down for Big E, Sasha, Ronda, and the pointless Drew stuff. Yeah, I think Big E, that's the one that
I wonder, Roy, not to interrupt you, but I wonder if the reason why the promos were bad is because I just kind of wonder if the talent was concerned for Big E and they just had Big E on their mind and they just were distracted tonight.
It's certainly, that's a good point. It certainly could be that. Absolutely, the fact that they were worried about Big E. I'm sure it played a role. Absolutely, I'm sure it played a role. The one thing I would say is, unfortunately, the promos that fell short came from talent whose promos normally fall short. I mean, Ronda's not known for her, almost Charlotte either. But absolutely, Big E's probably on their minds, and I'm sure they were all worried about him. Probably still are worried about it. So that could be a thing as well. We could cut him some slack for that. So Gil's fan, bit of sarcasm, says, so you don't believe that the crowd gives an Austin level pop whenever someone says something backstage. I always find that funny. Like someone will be talking backstage, and the second they show them on screen, just the crowd, you could tell they're piping in the noise, but the crowd just gets very loud, and it's not natural. It's not natural at all. And Daniel, I mean, there you go. After Brock just turned up and put some college basketball instead. Good point. Valid point, Gil's fan. People complain about the WWE having too safe a style, yet we still get all these injuries. That's very true. That is very true. Unfortunately, these things do happen. And Quentin, there you go. This post show is always a thumbs up, especially if we have Jumping Jerome, Gabby the Great, and Roy. Hey, I like those nicknames. I like.
Yeah, they call you the tribal chief of SmackDown, and then I call him the Beast Incarnate of Raw.
Oh yeah, there you go. Now, as for the show, I'm kind of, I agreed with Andrew in that sense. I thought the matches were good, promos not so much, and obviously Big E being the big talking point of the show. And yes, Daniel, absolutely. Please like and subscribe. The reason being is not only do we have these lovely co-hosts and lovely shows as well, by the way, on Mondays, Mike and Victoria Tedesco on the Post Raw, but we will be debuting a new, what do we call it, a show or series, or not sure what to call it yet. But I think it was Andrew earlier, you said you have your fantasy booking on, right? And I'm going to need some of that because I recently purchased the new WWE video game, 2K22, and we're going to do some streaming. And some streaming, I mean, we're going to see if we're going to do it live or kind of pre-recorded type of things, and we'll see. We'll discuss it. But we're going to get some content the next couple of days, next 2-3 days. And what I'm thinking, if you guys could throw them in as well, I have no problems. But thinking about maybe doing like a tournament style thing. So you guys tell me what kind of dream matches you'd love to see, and we kind of play them and then discuss them live with everybody as I'm playing, get everybody's feedback. We can talk about Raw, about SmackDown, about AEW, WWE, anything wrestling related. So kind of make that fun, just a little bit of interaction and add some more original content to everything. So we'll be doing that as well on the show. And yes, so Big E does have a broken neck.
He confirmed it on Twitter and his Instagram that he did break his neck. I posted the transcript from the video along with his video from Twitter. It's on the site live, so it's there. And so we wish him well, and hopefully, yes, thank you. We wish him well, and hopefully he recovers and has a neck like never, like he was never broken, and comes back better and stronger than ever. Because I hate seeing talent, get injured like that.
Yeah, no, he's I'm not gonna say lucky, obviously, but he's lucky in the sense of because he's such a great athlete, he's such a big guy. His traps and his neck remind me similar to Brock Lesnar. So WrestleMania 19 when he did the shooting star and he landed on his forehead.
I remember that.
That could have been worse than what it was.
Yeah, I remember that. It was at WrestleMania 19.
Yeah, him and Kurt Angle in Seattle. So
I remember
maybe a smaller person, they probably could have been, God forbid, paralyzed or much worse than a broken neck. Although broken neck is horrible. That's something. Daniel says the video game is not bad. Glad it took a year off. I did not buy the last one, so I'm very happy about that. And yeah, regarding Big E, what an awful few months. Loses the belt, loses the singles push. Now his neck is broken. Not a very good couple of months for Big E. But here's to a speedy recovery for him, and hopefully he's back. Even though we're still in March, hopefully he's back before the end of the year and back, like you said, Jerome, like 100%, and as if no injury ever happened. Gabby, any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to share? Excited for WrestleMania?
Well, no.
Not excited for WrestleMania.
Especially because my second favorite YouTubers are going to be at WrestleMania.
Who are your favorite YouTubers?
Dude
Who's your
Perfect.
second favorite? Oh,
Sorry?
Dude Perfect's going to be
Mhm.
Dude Perfect, Roy. They're going to be unveiling the WrestleMania 38 set at WrestleMania.
Oh,
I
didn't know
put it
that.
up on the site earlier tonight. WWE has it on their website. So yeah.
All right. So you're not all right.
Wrestleview is
Okay.
definitely Wrestleview is my definitely number one YouTube channel because I look forward to
Hey.
the post shows and the different post shows that we all do and getting to do post shows. That's my favorite.
Nice. So
But
thanks for the
overall,
support, Gabby. Yeah.
SmackDown was a pretty good show overall. I mean, there were some parts where I was just like zoning out because I'm like, I don't even want to watch this because why is this there? You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, we you get those segments every now and then on every show. But,
Oh yeah.
well,
So yeah, Daniel Shell says they ruined Pete Dunne.
they did. They called him
Yeah,
Butch.
we talked about it at the beginning of the show. An insult to wrestling fans. I mean, it's stupid.
Yeah. Wasn't
What a dumb
Butch?
persona.
Sorry?
It's a stupid persona and a stupid name.
Yeah.
They're gonna make Pete Dunne look like an idiot.
Well, exactly. And I was just gonna ask. I mean, probably bad to say, but wasn't Butch originally one of the Bushwhackers as well?
Yes, Luke and Butch, the
Luke and
Bushwhackers.
Butch,
Yeah,
right?
they'd lick people's faces and come out and do their thing. You know,
And do their
they
little
were the
thing
sheep.
like this, with the
Yeah.
arms.
Yeah, I wonder how many people remember they were the sheep herders in the NWA before that.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they would come out and do their promos, and it would be Tony Schiavone and Bob Caudle and Gordon Soley, and they'd have this piece of like construction paper with the United States turned upside down, going into a toilet. They would be bad mouthing the U.S. You can go look. You can probably find that on looking at old NWA footage, the old stuff that was on Saturday mornings on Superstation WTBS. That's see, now I'm dating myself because that's when I started watching wrestling was back then.
Okay. Well, I did not know that. I'm gonna have to YouTube that or try and look it up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have to do that. And Daniel, I mean, you guys even got Daniel to listen or watch something AEW related. Even though I'm not an AEW person, awesome coverage on Revolution. Fun to listen
thank
to.
you.
It was a good one.
Thank you.
It was a good one. Congrats, everybody. Congrats, guys. And hey, there you go. And it says they wrestled in Memphis too, feuding with the Fabulous Ones. You guys
Oh
going
yes,
back?
I remember that. Yes, I remember. Thanks, Andrew. Thanks for the
You're
memories on
going
that
back
one.
a couple of years right now. This was
Yeah,
before.
I lost my memory.
This was before my time.
Yeah, I lost my memory pills. I can't remember what I did with them, so we're all good.
It happens. Jerome, any final thoughts, final comments, anything before we wrap it up?
No, I'm looking forward to the new content you've got ready to put up on the site. So yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, slowly working on it. Jerome, I know we're not gonna let the cat out of the bag just yet, but I know you got some stuff you're thinking about and working on as well. So
yeah, I'm brainstorming some stuff. I got some stuff in the can I'm working on, and so yeah.
There you go. Can't wait. I can't wait to see what you come up with, Jerome. It's a pleasure. All right, Jerome,
Yes.
Gabby, thank you guys for joining me. It's been fun. I'll be honest, Jerome, when you texted me asking me, I'm like, absolutely, why not?
Yeah. Thanks.
Absolutely.
It was a last minute decision on my part because Gabby went onto the Wrestleview YouTube channel. She said, "Hey, Roy's doing a post show." I'm like, "Hey, I wonder if he'll want us on." She's like, "Hey, ask him." I'm like, "Okay."
Of course.
I'm sure he will.
Of course. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for joining, and thank you everybody as well for joining in the chat. If you guys are watching us live, thank you for joining. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of stuff coming up, some new content or new series content. We're here on Mondays. Mike and Victoria Tedesco for the post Raw. It's WrestleMania season, so we got a lot of stuff. It's gonna be very, very fun. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching us on repeat, right, if it's in the archives on YouTube, thank you guys for watching as well. So there you go, Quentin. There you go. And Gil's fan as well. So see you next time, everybody. Be safe. Thank you. And it's wrestling. Try not to take it too seriously and just try and enjoy it. Take care, everybody. Be safe. Bye.